Cynics on Disney podcast contains adult language. Listener discretion is advised.
This is the Cynics on Disney podcast, presented by nightclub33.com.
Welcome into this week's episode of the Cynics on Disney podcast. I'm your host, Bobby, aka the Disney Cynic.
And I'm Amanda, aka the Anti-Cynic.
And today we are going to have a light bulb moment here for you guys in more ways than one. The first way requires me to have a little bit of setup here. And I don't often do the whole preamble thing. Who am I kidding? That's all I do. But, you know, I don't know what the hell I was saying. I'm sorry. It's been a day. It's been, you know what? It's Masters Week. It's Masters Week is all I should have to say. But no, I guess some people won't understand. It's just a long week for someone like me. Anywho, we went out to dinner. It's the first time we've done Disney Springs here in a minute for both of us, I think. And we were out celebrating the wonderfully beautiful, mostly tolerable for like on the speaking side and whatnot, but you know, ultimately lovely and great and stuff. Co-host of the Cynics on Disney podcast, that would be the lovely Amanda and her birthday. I believe that she turned 29, you guys.
Yeah,
so
there you go. That's how old I am.
There's no sense in revealing all personal information. I mean,
Sure.
Still want you to get carded and stuff like that, you know. But anyway, so we went out to dinner to celebrate your birthday, and basically what it boiled down to was I had no idea where the hell for us to go. So I shoved my phone in your face and said, "Here, you pick."
Yep, you did that.
Mm-hmm. True story.
And then I picked, and you went, "How about this?"
Sort of, yeah. I mean, look, but it was for a good reason, right? I mean, you know. So,
sure.
What was your initial selection?
My initial selection was Wine Bar George.
You want to slur those words a little bit more there?
Wine Bar George.
Boy, does it make sense that you slurred the words for Wine Bar George. Yeah, and there was a valid reason that I made an alternate suggestion. They produce 4 appetizers, a steak, and I think like a veggie burger or something. I don't know, something that I wasn't going to eat.
Okay.
I mean, just for variety's sake, it was better.
You're right. You are absolutely right.
To try something else. So we also, it was really a stone's throw away. We ended up going over to where?
The Edison.
Light bulb moment. Told ya. That's right. I went there with it. Okay. So Amanda, tell us a little bit about the restaurant, the Edison, please.
Well, it opened in Disney Springs on New Year's Eve, so December 31st, 2017. And I found out that they actually, like, their grand opening party was like a paid event thing. It was like $150 per person.
So you're saying it was lit?
Sure. Yeah. There you go. It was lit.
God, I feel so bad about that one. Okay.
That's how they rang in. Yeah, there you go. That's how they opened up their restaurant, but it is themed to be it's supposed to be set in like 1921. So there's like a lot of, you know, they call it industrial Gothic decor. It's steampunk.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's not trying to be like a fucking hipster about this shit. Like, okay, all right, whatever.
It's steampunk. But yeah, they've got you have all this like decor around. Like, they've got, I don't know what that big machine was that was sitting like kind of behind where we were sitting.
It was some sort of motor, I believe.
Yes, I think so. They have, I don't know, like how, I don't know if it's like just on Saturday nights, or if it's like an every night thing like Raglan Road, but they do have live entertainment in the form of a group. If you've heard of the group Postmodern Jukebox, it's similar to them, but not as good, in my opinion.
Well, no.
If you haven't heard,
trying their hand at 1920s jazz, so yeah,
right, but they're taking popular songs and making them into like more 1920s jazzy sounding songs.
Sure,
like the first song that they did was All About That Bass by Meghan Trainor,
and they had no trouble getting the words out of their mouth.
Oh God.
I had to get that one to myself too. So.
It's so bad.
Yeah. I really feel like I need to be in timeout or something.
If you keep making bad jokes like that, I mean, you have to put you in timeout and take over.
We'll see how that goes. All right. What else can you tell us about?
So looking at, I didn't realize it was like a 2-story restaurant. Looking at, because I've only seen it from where you enter. I haven't like gone around to behind it. You enter on the second floor, and that's where we were sitting too. Most of the seating is upstairs. But they had like TVs.
I don't know. It looked pretty deep down there.
It did look pretty. Yeah. The bar is downstairs, and I saw a lot. That's where a lot of people were sitting too. But they have TVs like placed around on the walls. So you can. They were playing up until the band started. They were playing like old. I think they were Disney cartoons from like the 1920s.
Like some Oswald the Rabbit type shit.
Kind of, yeah. It wasn't like Mickey and that kind of thing. It was like some of the earlier stuff, I think.
Yes, the stuff that Disney doesn't care to copyright. So
yeah. So they were playing that, and then once the band started playing, they actually put that on the TV so like everybody could see the band, not just the people who were. I don't even know like where they were, to be quite honest.
I saw them. They were on the first floor, obviously. We were sitting kind of in a more rounded part. For the restaurant. There was also a square part that was right next to us. Both of them have holes in the floor and are protected by glass railings that if you don't have a safety smudge, you will feel like you're about to fall in. But I saw them like basically directly beneath the back of the restaurant on the first floor. So
kind of like under where we were sitting.
Yeah, but over towards the corner a little bit.
Okay.
I guess, so.
But yeah, they did like broadcast the band on the TV, so didn't matter where you were sitting in the restaurant, you could still see the music being sung. Still see the band. We had a pretty good view. You could see the lake and Saratoga Springs from where we were sitting. So that was our view. That was our dinner view. Saw some of the amphibious cars and.
Well, I had the most beautiful view of the two of us since, we were celebrating your birthday.
Oh, look at you.
I know. Ladies, I can be sweet. I promise you. So anyway, another appealing thing to me about this restaurant, or I guess the most appealing thing was the menu. It's not it's not a bunch of bullshit. You know what I mean?
It's not a super it's a nice restaurant, but it's not like super fancy food.
Yeah, they had a grilled cheese, and we're gonna get to that. They had a cheeseburger. It's shit that would be sold probably at Sci-Fi Dine-In Theater or Beaches and Cream or something to that effect. But like, if somebody put a little effort into it, that's kind of what this is.
Right.
So, Amanda, what did you have for dinner? Let's go ahead and start it off.
I had the grilled cheese, actually. So this grilled cheese on the menu, it's like a tomato soup and a grilled cheese, but I am really I love tomato soup, but I'm picky about it, so I chose not to get the tomato soup. Instead, I got fries. But man, this sandwich I was not expecting.
No,
Um,
neither was I.
it has white cheddar, fontina, Alpine Swiss, Munster, all of those cheeses together on
Mhm.
sourdough bread. And I also added tomato. Um, I was expecting like a normal sized sandwich, to be quite honest. I got, and I'm so glad this is video, so I can actually like show the size. It was sliced into 2 slices, and they were like probably each about this big.
Yeah, she's not lying. I mean, they were
They were
pretty darn big
huge.
pieces of bread. Um, it reminded me of kind of like the mountain bread that one would buy
Yeah.
at the local Publix, which that may be a reference for just the Southeast. I don't know, because you know, I know that.
Basically, like if you went to a bakery and bought sourdough bread.
Yeah, just
Kind of.
really large, round, wide. I don't know.
Mhm.
You know what? Cartoonish bread that's in a circle. That if you slice that up, yeah, that's
Yeah.
how the bread looked.
Yeah.
I was a little. I got to taste this, and I was a little bit jealous. I was.
You did say next time we eat there, that's what you're ordering.
If we do eat there again, yes, and I will be adding bacon to it. Because goddamn, bacon is just delicious on a grilled cheese. It's just wonderful. I realize that you're not that person, but ugh,
I mean,
I
I
don't
think
really
tomato is
appreciate it.
delicious on a grilled cheese, but I also understand that you're not that person. So
No, God, no. That's for damn sure. Have you seen my face? No, I'm good. Um, so it was 1 for 1, and that's all well and good. Um, before I get to, I got a burger. Who am I kidding? I don't know why I'm building hype. I got a fucking cheeseburger with bacon on it. It's called the Edison. And it came with a bunch of crap that I don't usually eat, like lettuce and tomatoes and all that kind of stuff. And then they had some sort of sauce, which was basically just like Thousand Island dressing. But I think
okay.
adjusted for inflation to the 1920s, it was like 15-cent dressing. So, um, the one knock that I had like immediately out the gate, the server was wonderful, by the way, very very sweet and everything. However, we got stuck at a round table, and we got stuck at what felt like the kids' card table at Thanksgiving. That like all of a sudden you're an adult, but you're still technically a kid because you don't have that next generation of kids to have a complete and full kids table.
Or you're like you're like an older teen, but they still
Yeah.
stick you because you're not an adult yet. They still stick you at the kids' table.
Well, it was just so short,
It
and
was very short.
I'm 6'5", so there's a lot of things that are short for me, but
I'm
it was short
five
for you.
three. I'm 5'3", and this table was short for me.
Yeah, I tower over her. You guys just like, have you seen that thing on TikTok where like women will like put a camera up to where their boyfriend or husband or husband's eye line is, and like point it downward, and they go, "Oh my god, is this what he sees?" Yeah, no, yeah, a
Yeah.
yes would have been nice. There we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've seen those.
Um, yeah. I would like for us to try that just so that you can see it because it's ridiculous. Um, it came with fries. The burger did. It was fine. It was fine. It was actually, you know what? It was better than fine. It was above average, and that's not something that I've been able to say about Disney food in a long time.
Yeah. Yeah.
It it just I don't know what, and I don't think that this is a Disney owned restaurant.
It
Is
is
it?
not a Disney owned restaurant. No.
Now it's starting to make sense to a degree because
Um, this
they
is
had to have
they
their different beef supplier, for God's sake.
now this restaurant um owns several others at Disney. They own both of the restaurants over in Italy at Epcot.
Okay.
They own Maria and Enzo's Hideaway. They own Pizza
Mm,
Pont. Is it Pont or Ponte?
I'm gonna go with Ponte. I don't know.
They own Morimoto Asia. So they own like several restaurants that are at Disney Springs.
Wait a second. The guy from Iron Chef isn't the one who owns Morimoto Asia?
I know this company owns it.
Oh, that's just not making me feel good about it.
um. So yeah, they own quite a bit, but it is not a Disney owned restaurant.
Well, it was reflective. Generally speaking, this company, I would say, does a kind of a bad job when it comes to restaurants. Although I will say that there's been a couple of notable exceptions that we've tried,
Mhm.
and one of them being Via Napoli. I've
Mhm.
that was one of the ones that you had mentioned. That place was pretty damn good. And
Yeah.
it's clear that they let their general managers of those restaurants kind of do their own thing, and
Yeah.
let their chefs do their own thing. And that's awesome and great. And that's exactly how it should be. Why? Because it makes things better. And look at that.
It
It made
does.
my
It
burger
does.
better because I paid the same amount for this burger that I did over at Sci Fi Dine In Theater.
Yeah.
And it was
Yeah.
markedly better. Markedly better. So kudos to the Edison for serving above average food. I'm proud of you. And for
Hey,
serving it at the same rate in terms of currency as the rest of the of Disney. So you clearly there's a different profit margin involved for you.
I'm gonna need them. They also own Space 220, so I'm gonna need them to
Oh, they need to step their
get
fucking
it.
game up
I needed to
there.
get. They need to get together over there.
I've never once outside of one of these like clearly Disney pays them influencers on
Yeah.
social media. Outside of one of them, I've never heard anybody go, "This was
Yeah.
my favorite restaurant for the food."
Yeah.
Every single one of them have been like, even the view's nice, you know. Even the influencers, like
Yeah.
they don't necessarily talk about the food. They talk about the view at
It's
Space
the
220.
yeah. It's the atmosphere at that restaurant they talk about.
Well, the lack thereof.
Sure. But yeah, so the they're not a Disney owned.
God damn, I'm getting judged harshly.
You are getting judged harshly.
I feel like that one wasn't bad.
It wasn't as bad as your others tonight, so
Right.
I'll give you a pass on that one.
Okay. Oh,
That's
there we go.
lovely for
Yeah. Well, hopefully. Sorry, my eye is killing me. Um, Perhaps we should talk about that. So you know what? Let's talk. Let's move on to the next step of our meal. You also had a cocktail, did you not?
I did have a cocktail. I had a very simple, not one of their specialty cocktails. They have a pretty extensive cocktail menu.
And what did
Um,
you select?
I had a rum. I had Malibu and pineapple juice. That's what I had.
Fair enough.
I wanted something light, but and again, they have an extensive cocktail menu, but again, it's all like 1920s, so it's like liquor that I'm not
It's a
terribly
lot of
fond
bourbon.
of. It is.
It's
It's a
a it's
lot
a
of whiskey, a lot of bourbon. They have some vodka. Um,
They're always adding
cocktails.
bitters to things. I mean, I know that
Yeah,
was a thing, but back in the day, it was done because like you kept making shitty liquor and you had to cover
yeah,
up the taste somehow. Now it's
yeah,
like used as this. Ooh, let me flavor this thing. It
yeah.
doesn't make
It
it
was,
good.
a lot of gin. There was like gin, and I do not like gin at all. So,
No,
um,
it was made in a bathtub.
I don't see how Colin and Jack drink it, but ugh. But yeah,
I don't. I personally don't even like potpourri, so I certainly don't want to drink it. If I don't want to
yeah,
smell it.
no, I can't take gin. So yeah, I didn't see one of their cocktails that I was being drawn to, so I just made it simple and got Malibu and pineapple juice.
Okay, fair enough.
It was
Um,
delicious.
It was. And the experience overall, the table aside, was more or less fine, except for
Yeah.
one other issue that cropped up. And I don't blame the Edison for this at all. However, I will say that they do happen to have open doors and stuff, and that does allow this to waft in. Um, as you guys may know, it is currently the Flower and Garden Festival over at uh, Disney's Epcot Center. I don't know why I said Epcot Center. It hasn't been called that since 1989.
I also don't know why you said Disney's Epcot Center. So.
I don't either. This is weird. I don't know why I'm being the way.
Today's been a weird day. Okay.
Yes, it has been a weird day. So because of that, the whole festival that's going on over there, I believe that there was some sort of wind shift that occurred south of the park and just kind of blew it all east. And by all of it, I mean all the pollen that was coming from the freaking festival, because I had some sort of allergic breakout that caused me to leave dinner early.
Yep. In search of Benadryl.
Yeah, I had to, okay. I don't know if you guys know this or not. There is a place that you can get Benadryl at Disney Springs, and it is called the Sundry Shop. And it, you know what? For all of you resort stayers, it's rather convenient for you people because it's literally once you hop off the bus,
it's right there at the buses.
You are right there. So
that's also where you go if you need to rent a wheelchair at Disney Springs,
or one of those scooter thingy majigs. I
also believe strollers as well. So
yeah. So if you need another vehicle while you're walking around,
go here.
Also, if you need 2 pills of Benadryl, go here. And God, we need to talk about the guests. You know what? Before we do this, let's actually rate the restaurant real quick. On a scale of 1 to 5 thus, how many Edisons are you giving this restaurant?
I'm gonna give this 4.5.
4.5. Okay.
That table. That table. That stupid table.
Fair enough.
I'm sorry. I'm 5'3", so if I'm telling you the table's too short, the table's too short.
Fair enough. So I'm gonna give this a 3.5, but only because I'm judging it now based on the competition around it. Okay. Mm-hmm. And the competition around it is pretty steep compared to theme park food. You know, you got Chef Art Smith's, that's within spitting distance. Yeah. You've got what's it called? The Boathouse within spitting distance. God, you have Jock Lindsay's for cocktails. You have Paddlefish. You have that Terralina that's over right next to Paddlefish.
And all of those are very good choices.
Yes, they are. In fact, most of them I would say are better. So
yeah, but if you want a really good grilled cheese sandwich,
yeah, that's the thing, guys. Now, how much was the grilled cheese? It was like $25 or something.
It was 20. Right? It was 22, but adding tomato added like $4 to it.
Okay. So it's an excessive amount for what is the simplest sandwich. Like you can make this in prison with like on your radiator. Okay.
But using the mix of cheese, on your radiator. Do they allow radiators?
Yes, that's how they get heat in the prison. Have you not
in the cells though?
Yes.
No, I don't.
The boiler.
You know, I don't pay attention half the time when you're watching movies.
This is why you should pay attention. Okay. Meh. It teaches you things.
It's fine.
It's fine. Okay. All right. Fine. Jesus.
But with this grilled cheese, again, they use like 4 different cheeses.
Yeah.
And not like the cheap ones either.
No. They did not buy this, in the government cheese cave that I heard about.
Right. I mean, they're getting really specific here, like Alpine Swiss, not just any Swiss.
Yeah, what the hell is that?
But Alpine Swiss.
Is that the one? And then I believe there's also a baby Swiss, which has little itty bitty bubbles in it, so that it makes little itty bitty holes.
I am looking up Alpine Swiss.
Yeah, I want to know what the difference is between that and regular.
Cheese. There we go.
What is the difference between Swiss people and?
No, I put Alpine Swiss, and then I got like a store. And I went,
Um,
okay, maybe I should put cheese. Okay, so apparently, okay, there's like a whole thing.
Is there?
There's like, it's a thing. It is a thing. Um, and apparently there's a lot of different Alpine cheeses, including Swiss.
Okay. So Alpine is the genre of cheese, and Swiss is the subgenre. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes.
Okay.
Alpine cheeses come from the countries who like they all border the Alps.
Yeah, I gathered that.
And then but like Swiss cheese can be like a domestically produced knockoff of a classic what's called an Emmental cheese.
I have no idea.
It can be a generic thing. So yeah, it's a thing. There's a whole website. Yeah, the Institute of Culinary Education has like just a whole thing on the fundamentals of cheese. So
okay, so there you go, guys. In case you wanted to learn about cheese, there you go.
I'm not gonna get into it.
Yeah.
But Alpine Swiss is not the same as just regular old Swiss, okay?
There you go. So, yes, we both, I think, would recommend the grilled cheese, even though it's fucking stupid that it's $20-something.
But it's also freaking huge. I didn't finish it because that was so big.
That's on you, I feel like.
I ate most of it. I did eat most of it.
Anyway, so we need to talk about behavior at theme parks. It just like it's like in general, as a matter of fact.
Okay.
I would say. When you were in a crowd, and I know that we had that like I don't know, government mandated break from social behavior for a while there. Like we kind of forgot how to interact with each other.
Yep.
Back when I was playing football, I played defense. And one of the things that they taught us playing defense is to quote unquote keep your head on a swivel, meaning that you need to be aware of your surroundings, where X, Y, or Z is, and be able to adapt and react to all of these things. People do not seem to have their head quote unquote on a swivel any further. It's been unswiveled so far that it's completely fallen off of the top of their body and somehow ended up in their ass. I went into this sundry shop and was raced there by a woman who was getting off of the bus. Apparently, she too needed Benadryl. It's not exactly the biggest shop in the world that's over there. It's a like 2 or 3 people wide and maybe 15 people long. It's not like it's really like 10 by 30. It's not a big shop.
Another case of where Americans will literally use anything to avoid using the metric system.
That is correct. Yes, anything. Metric system is stupid. There, I said it. Anywho, I am trying to be polite and patient because it's just not in my nature to be a loudmouth asshole. It's like at least allow me to rephrase. It's my it is my personality to be a loudmouth asshole on camera and when talking about Disney. But when I'm actually out in public, I'm a fairly nice guy. Yeah. And I try to be, respectful and aware of my surroundings because I am not the smallest person on the planet and I don't want to trip a kid. And I don't want to trip and fall on a kid. And I don't want to, hurt anybody because of, oops, I'm just big,
Right.
So
right.
I am someone who's genuinely trying my best to be aware of my surroundings. Little stepmom that was wearing the biker short yoga pants. Nuh-uh. That bitch was not dealing with having her head on a swivel. Her head was so far up her ass. Fuck her. Okay? Like, just if you can't make up your mind, like, look at it from afar. Look at the shelf from afar. Approach the shelf when you are prepared to pick out the one thing. This literally caused me to delay myself for a solid 5 to 10 minutes because I was just trying to be patient with that person. And then her sister and her stroller popped in, and oh my god, then they took up the whole fucking
And that store is not big enough for a stroller to be in with people.
no, it's not. So like just be aware of your surroundings and like understand that other people have things to do as well, even when you're on vacation. Like,
Yeah.
I know it's easy to think that you're the most important person when you're spending that much money coming to those
But
parks.
you're not the only one spending that much money.
Exactly. That's the problem. It's why I get mad about this stuff is because it puts
Yeah.
everybody else on edge like this.
Yeah.
And so like they're going to maximize themselves basically because they feel like they're spending all this money and they have to get the most out of it. Well,
Mhm.
get out of my way. I know what I'm doing. And I know that I can't wear a shirt that says I'm a local, move out of my way, I'm special. I'm not saying that I'm special either. I'm saying don't be rude. Recognize that there's other people around you. That's all. That's all.
Yeah.
And that literally applies to anybody with a group or God forbid if you people wear matching t-shirts. Like no. I mean that's ridiculous. So
Yeah. It is.
so guys, that was our review of the Edison and people in general. It turns out people suck. And they are dimmer than even the Edison bulb, which the Edison bulb is really just a shitty light bulb if you really look at it. It's pretty dim actually. So hashtag insult. There you go.
Look at that. High level
Yeah.
insulting.
Yeah, me too. Um, but let's talk about another light bulb moment that I guess
Okay.
I've had here. I think that I am. How do I put this? I think that the reason why I am so frustrated by all of the changes and all of the rumored changes and everything like that for the Magic Kingdom, this Beyond Thunder Mountain thing, this a whole South American the thing that's they're not going to have any animals for over in Animal Kingdom because God forbid that we have animals at fucking Animal Kingdom.
Yep.
I think what is driving me crazy about this is that part of what I liked about Disney in the golden years of the 90s and the early 2000s is there were certain things that you just could not literally not do unless you went to Disney World.
Right.
You could not have a shared frame of reference. You could not have a shared experience unless you went and experienced it at the parks.
Right.
And I think that's a much cooler thing than any cartoon, any intellectual
Yeah.
property, anything, really. Oh, hey,
Yeah.
look, there's a little dog. Look at you
There's Cooper.
trying to get the dog in frame. Um, and I think that what makes me so upset about it is that it doesn't require a lot of thought. Whereas everything that Disney has purported to be here recently is so creative and so wonderful about all the little details and everything
Yeah.
like that. And I don't see it. Do you?
Not anymore. Not lately. I liked the fact that we had things at Disney World that you only had at Disney World. I liked the fact that Disneyland had things that you could only do at Disneyland. Same thing
Yeah.
with the parks around the world. It gives you incentive if it's something you really want to do. It gives you incentive to go to the other properties.
Mhm.
But if we keep bringing in attractions, from other properties here, what's the incentive for me to go to those other properties?
Well, from what I understand, the castle out west sucks. So there's that.
It's very
Um,
tiny compared to ours, from what I understand.
yeah. So, and I don't get Californians who like this thing. It's whatever. But anywho, so while I have been very, very negative and very loud about being negative with the parks and everything, I want to try to turn a little bit more not positive, but like present an alternate solution
Okay.
at this point. And I say that because I kind of believed in what Nelson Peltz was trying to preach.
Mhm.
Um, Poorly, I might add. He made some comments that were just asinine and like just you're
Yeah.
not going to win votes that by making that kind of comment in
Right.
2024 because hashtag the current year. But also the sentiment was stupid. So there's that. Um, what he was trying to do was suggest an alternatives to make things see people or make people see things from a different light. Yeah, another light bulb.
There you go.
That,
Look at
yeah,
you.
that, yeah. And as a result, I'm gonna start dusting off some of the shit that I came up with back in ye olden times when the two of us, you and I, were our own separate website before we combined forces like a Captain Planet of an asshole of Disney stuff with I mean with notclub33.com. Which God, that whole transition was wonderful because then it took the onus of management off of me and allowed me to just be creative, which is
Yeah.
exactly what these Imagineers need to do. I'm just saying. But
Look.
anywho, the point that I'm trying to make is that I want to offer up different things that these Imagineers could do with
Mhm.
a bunch of stuff instead of what it is that they are doing within the parks.
Yeah.
And I used to call them cynical pitches, but I've been informed by our CFO that it needs to be called armchair imagineering because that's the term that she
That's what
used
it
the
is.
couple
Yeah.
times that he did it. So, for brand synergy's sake, we're going to call it armchair imagineering, and I will start like providing alternate solutions to things that are going into Magic Kingdom, going into the Animal Kingdom, any other changes that could be happening.
Yeah.
I want to start with this whole thing by fixing Epcot. Oh, I know.
Yeah. No, Epcot needs to be
It needs some fixing.
fixed.
It does. It used to be great, and it's not anymore. And so tonight we are launching a campaign to make Epcot great again,
Oh.
or as I'm calling it, mega. What?
Why you gotta why you gotta do this?
What?
Why you gotta do it this way?
Sorry, I'm being informed now that that might be a touchy way of going about this. But, okay, but the sentiment is there. It used to be great. It's not anymore. And so I want to fix it. Okay. And my thing with Epcot is that it's not necessarily that it has to be educational. It's not necessarily that it has to be, certain things. But one thing that it should be is it should be subject matter related. Okay. So you should have a pavilion on the human body, for instance. You should have a pavilion on the land, the
I
sea.
think I think first of all they need to figure out what, and this is the problem.
Well, you
Since
didn't let me
Iger
finish my
took over.
idea.
Okay, I'm sorry. Finish your idea.
Yeah. So you should have a pavilion for all of these different things. Okay. I think that Guardians of the Galaxy has a shelf life before the characters run out. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
Because at some point they're going to have to recast those characters.
Yeah.
And so what? Okay, yeah, you film the ending again. Cool, whatever. That's on you to do all that. But I feel like this will grow stale after a fairly quick time. So My idea is to have permanent subjects or topics for each one of these pavilions. Something like space, something like transportation, something like the human body or the land or what have
Mhm.
you, and then you get 10 years with an attraction. After that, it's fair game.
Yeah.
But each pavilion becomes like a little museum inside of itself. So you have like a sort of consistency with the
Mhm.
queue, with certain different what's it called, exhibits and that
Mhm.
kind of thing. And then you allow a new set of Imagineers to come up with a different attraction when the the general feeling is this has gotten stale. Okay,
Yeah.
so the attraction itself will rotate, but the pavilion itself will not, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
You
No,
know
it
that
does.
you're going to go to the world motion, or you're going to the transportation pavilion. And
Mhm.
within that transportation pavilion can be World of Motion or Test Track
Yeah.
or Tron Track or whatever the fuck they're going to do next
Yeah.
with it. But it's
Yeah.
always going to be the transportation pavilion. Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
No, that makes sense.
And I think that way it provides some parameters for people to be sort of boxed in with, which I think
Mhm.
is a good thing to a degree. You have to make whatever attraction you stick in there relate to that one specific topic.
Mhm.
I don't care how you do it, but it has to be a justified through line, and it can't be some bullshit reason like how Josh Tomorrow says, "Well, Animal Kingdom's really about adventure."
No,
No,
it's
it's
about
about fucking
animals.
animals.
That's
It's
why it's
about
called
animals,
Animal.
Josh.
It's Animal Kingdom, not Adventure Kingdom.
Exactly. Exactly. So you have to box people into a degree, but at least this allows for refreshing and rotating and all that kind of stuff. But then you give at least a decade of one attraction within each pavilion. Give it a shelf life if you want to. And then you know that you can go in and gut it or make it a little bit more permanent, make it
Mhm.
a 20-year attraction,
Yeah.
make it renewable by contract for each one of these Imagineers. So if you design a hella good attraction that's awesome, people don't want to go away, that Imagineer gets some rights
Yeah.
to some of the royalties that come from that kind of thing. So
Yeah.
I kind of feel like that's one way of fixing future world / world discovery world,
Yeah.
whatever the hell they're calling.
The front of
Yeah, sure. We'll,
Epcot.
we'll call it that.
I
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, I think the biggest thing before they can do anything like that, and I've noticed this pretty much ever since Iger took over. Um, it used to be each park was very specifically themed. You had Magic Kingdom, which is where all of like the classic Disney, stuff
I
was.
would call it a potpourri over at Magic
Yeah,
Kingdom rather than a
but
theme.
then you had
Wholly themed
Epcot.
area.
You had Epcot, which had two very distinct lands. You had Future World, which, was very much focused on things of the future. You had World Showcase, still have World Showcase, which is, these 11 different countries. You get to experience these different cultures and foods and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Hollywood Studios, MGM Studios, that was movies. And that was, when it opened, it was a working studio.
Mm-hmm.
You had the backlot tour, you had the stunt show, you had, you've got stage shows, you've had these things that went with that theme. Animal Kingdom is animals. Like,
Yeah, should be
but
that simple.
they've gotten away from that, and now I think that's Epcot's problem. That's Epcot's biggest problem right now, is that they don't know what they want the theme of Epcot to be anymore.
I know that back in the day, people were asking the question, where are the characters?
Mm-hmm.
So perhaps this problem that I'm having is longer lasting than I give it credit for. But people seem to be satisfied with Figment,
Yeah.
and Figment was a Disney World exclusive.
Yeah.
So say what
No
you will about,
movie. There's
yeah,
no movie. There's nothing, we don't need a Figment movie, Disney. Stop trying to make a Figment movie happen.
get out of here, Seth Rogen. We don't want you.
Um, But yeah, it was strictly Disney World. Um, like it just and
So
everybody was
here's the
happy.
other thing that I would like for Disney to do before they create any new attraction with any new intellectual property. I want them to bust out the archives and go look at Westcott,
Mm-hmm.
which was an entirely West Coast version of Epcot that was supposed to be bigger and grander and so on and so forth. But and it was actually announced in the 90s. The only reason that it didn't come to fruition was because Disneyland Paris didn't work out as well as Eisner had hoped.
Mm-hmm.
Had it worked out like he had hoped, then we would have a Westcott. We wouldn't have California Adventure, which that
Yeah.
changes like this the face of Disney. To be honest with you, it wouldn't shock me if the West Coast theme parks suddenly become a little bit more dominant in
Yeah.
terms of visitorship, if not for this, because California Adventure, when it opened up, it was not a well reviewed park.
No.
A lot of people thought it was cheap. And I think that that's an ongoing problem is that we're
Yep.
paying a premium for all sorts of stuff over at Disney, and we're expecting a premium in return
Yeah.
for all those things. I don't have a problem with paying money. I have a problem with paying money and getting crap back.
Yep.
That's why I am the way that I am about this stuff.
Yep.
So that's another suggestion that I have is to dust off any old
Yeah.
attractions
This whole
and
thing with Beyond Big Thunder, they had like back in the 70s, they had a plan for that area back there. It's not a plan that they need to do today because I've if you go to our TikTok, like one of the very few videos that is on our TikTok, because I just don't have time.
you will in the summer, and then I'm
I
cracking a
will.
whip.
But one of, I did like a whole like history over what that area was supposed to be. Like they had plans for it.
But they won't go
Go
back to them.
go back to your archives. You don't have like I said, most of what they were planning to do for that area does not need to be done today. But it gives them a good starting point, I guess.
It feels like what you're saying is that there was a touch of the hard R racism there. Is that what you're saying?
A little, a
A little. Okay,
little.
fair enough.
Also,
It's all right.
like it not just that, but like if you look at like the like how they wanted to like do some of the attractions, it is very dated now. Just the type of
Yeah,
stuff they wanted to do. Um, but you can use that as your jumping off point. You
yeah.
don't reinvent the wheel if you don't need to.
I completely agree. All right, so there we go. Some armchair imagineering for you guys, and we wanted to make sure that we tried to do a little bit soft, no, or a soft start on something like this for a reason. Because we got some comments on the YouTube version of this here show, which I'm very grateful for. Responded to everyone that commented, and make sure that you respond to this here podcast down below, if you will. Also, like and subscribe and share and review and all that jazz. But we'll get to that here in a few minutes. Um, I would also like to talk a little bit about rumors, speculation, so on and so forth that's occurring. We got a lot of info after the the whole board vote thing, and it just kind of started flowing out.
Yeah.
I feel like if they had done a little bit more of the leaking and stuff like that beforehand, I may not have been so adamant, but I'm definitely still adamantly like not in favor of the direction of the company and everything. Um, I just might have been a little bit quieter about that
Yeah.
kind of thing because some of the stuff it's not horrible, it's not great. If I'm being honest with you, this comes from Mickey Views, and the report that came out is that what they are trying to do is separate Tiana's from Big Thunder Mountain and make more West Coast type stuff occur back behind Thunder Mountain. Specifically, a Cars attraction that's supposed to be mimicking the one that's out in California, and a Woody attraction. Okay. You know what? I'm not going to object to Cars. Screw it. It's in Magic Kingdom. It's the park for kids. I don't care. It's inoffensive. We don't have any Cars stuff over here except for that one shitty thing that's back behind Rock and Roller Coaster, and that's not really even, like a
I don't even know
thing.
what that is. Yeah, I don't even know what that is.
It's one of Becky's kids' favorites. We trash. Anywho, I guess, like I said, Cars is fine. So I don't necessarily have a problem with that. But I do have a question though.
Okay.
What's the point of Toy Story Land?
To have things related to Toy Story.
That's what I would think. As you know, the whole fucking point of making a Toy Story Land is so that you can put anything with Toy Story in it in Toy Story Land. Why are we putting a Woody attraction over in this newfangled land of theirs? I don't understand it.
I don't either.
Look, maybe this is what I need to come back to the table with next week when it comes to the armchair Imagineering stuff. I don't know, but I do know that this is stupid. In fact, this is how stupid it is. I'm willing to give up Buzz over in Tomorrowland. That's where I'm at with it. Let's get rid of Buzz too, and put our version of it over in Toy Story Land. Because why are we doing this?
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right.
Even if it's something to just open up, if you have to have a stupid ass intellectual property attached to this thing, fine, go ahead and do it. But open it up with a different IP so that we don't have a sixth, I believe, Toy Story attraction. Fifth or sixth.
Let's see. There's 1, 2, 3 over at Toy Story Land.
Yeah, so there's as many attractions at Disney World as there are movies for that thing. I guess if they're making Toy Story 5, they want to keep it up or some shit. I think this is stupid. That's just me. So we can talk about some of the villain shit next week. We can talk about them getting rid of Tom Sawyer Island. Fuck that. Get it out of here. I don't care. Same thing with the Liberty Bell. Like make it a museum. Park it over at Disney Springs. Make it into the next Paddlefish. I don't care. Just anything. No, this is fine with all of that stuff. Mm-hmm. I do care about all the other shit that's going on, I guess.
Yeah.
And it drives me crazy that you can't think outside those stupid movie framed boxes. I don't get it. So, Amanda, I think it's about time here to wrap this podcast up.
Okay.
We are on social media. Are we not?
We are. We are on social media.
Allegedly. Please.
Allegedly.
Tell us where.
You can find us on Facebook and that site formerly known as Twitter at Cynical Disney. You can find us everywhere else. So Instagram, Threads, TikTok, Pinterest, all of those places at Cynics on Disney.
All right. And this here podcast, of course, is brought to you by NotClub33.com. Make sure that you check out NotClub33.com for all the latest and greatest updates, including but not limited to the Notcast, which is posted every Friday or most every Friday at 4 p.m. Magic Kingdom time. That is East Coast time for all of you California people. While you are here, guys, we would genuinely appreciate it if you would give us a like here on YouTube, or if you would subscribe to us as well on YouTube, Podbean, Apple Podcasts,
Spotify.
Google, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. Please make sure that you are subscribed, that you've rated this here show, and that you've given us a review as well. It helps us be exposed more in the algorithm, and especially now that we are on video, you do not want me exposing myself in any other way, right? Right. Guys, until next time, have yourselves a magical fucking day.